Hey everyone, Logan back on today to bring to the channel the Chinese Pantheon and how to play it in Smite. There are 14 gods and special beings in this pantheon. Since all of them have a role that would be similar to other gods in the different pantheons, I'll be talking about all of them even if some are not technically gods. I hope you all enjoy. First god we're going to talk about today is Ao Kuang, Dragon of the Eastern Sea. Ao Kuang is ruler over the Eastern Sea. He has three other brothers, Ao Qin, Ao Run, and Ao Shun, which are in the other cardinal directions. Ao Kuang's greatest enemy is Nejia. Ao Kuang in Smite will bring his fierce presence as his strength lies with his attack speed, and his ultimate, which is an execute. Like other assassins, Ao Kuang is good at eliminating someone really fast and can escape with a bit less difficulty. Ao Kuang's biggest weakness is that his ultimate is easy to cancel. If anyone has purification beads, or Aegis shield, or both, as their relics, they can cancel out Ao Kuang's ultimate, which is an execute, where if someone is at a certain amount of health, it is a guaranteed kill. This is the only god in the game that an execute can be cancelled by both beads and Aegis. Second god on our list is Chang'e, who's the goddess of the moon. When she stole an elixir of immortality from her husband, the hero archer Hu Yi, who had received this potion from the gods, Chang'e ran from her husband to the moon and Hu Yi tried to chase her, only to be stopped by the hair that made Hu Yi reconcile with his wife. In Smite, Chang'e dances her way across the battlefield. She is a goddess that uses her abilities to both damage enemies and heal and buff allies. She has strong damage, and one of her most powerful abilities does not do damage but makes her immune to CC as well as damage. Any damage she would have originally received turns into mana for herself and her allies around her. Chang'e's weakness comes into play when her abilities are on cooldown. She gains movement speed from using her abilities, so if she uses her abilities to start a fight, then she won't have anything to escape with. The third on our list is Daji, the nine-tailed fox. Daji was sent by Nuwa to help overthrow the Zhaoshang dynasty, whose leader King Zhao was a tyrant who expected tributes or he would invade. Daji was from the small land of Du, who had not given tribute to King Zhao, so he invaded the land and took Daji as his consort. He became so obsessed with her that he did everything to get her approval. This was the beginning of his demise. Daji in Smite is as mean as she is in the stories. She is the high burst assassin that can teleport onto her enemies to deliver a devastating blow, or even bring her enemies to her through her favorite device, the Powwow. Her strengths are her high mobility, from being able to teleport onto targetable locations, as well as having high movement speed, boost from the ability that is also knock-up immune. Daji is a scary thing to see on the field. Daji weakness comes from the high CC, where if a god has high crowd control, Daji will have a hard time getting onto them or their allies. She can be stunned, leaving her in a very vulnerable position. Daji is my favorite assassin, and there are a few tricks you can do that not a lot of people know that make Daji that much more terrifying. Next on our list is Erlong Shen, warrior god of engineering. Erlong Shen was known for being able to transform into 72 different things, and went, "Wukong, what are you doing here? It's not your turn yet. Go back to your spot and wait. Thank you." Alright, where was I? And when his mother was trapped underneath the mountain, Erlong Shen was able to cleave it in two with his spear. He is commonly seen with the third eye. Erlong Shen in Smite is as mighty and regal as his image is in Smite, being a strong warrior who can push through anything. Erlong Shen's strengths come from the constant poke and constantly chasing one person down. He has an ultimate which taunts people to attack him, and after a period of time he'll get a flat heal based on the amount of damage he took. Erlong Shen's weakness comes from his attack speed. If you get certain items in the shop that reduce attack speed, it can really mess with Erlong Shen's damage. The fifth god on our list is Guan Yu, warrior of China and god of war and literature. Guan Yu's military prowess was so great that after his death he was deemed a god of war. He was a very brave and loyal soldier that when he was asked to switch sides or die, he refused and in fact even insulted the person who made the offer to him. In Smite, Guan Yu is a warrior that is just as war savvy as he is in mythology. His strength comes from help from others, as his kit helps those around him do damage, from a spin attack that shreds armor to an ultimate that on the last hit will stun enemies. Guan Yu's weakness comes from him being by himself. If you build him like a warrior and not 100% damage, he can make his allies hit hard but not himself. Now time for Hebois, god of the Yellow River. Hua was made the god of the Yellow River after he sacrificed himself in hope to stop the flooding. Wukong, go wait for your turn. Just as bad as Loki. Anyways, back to where I was. Alright, he is portrayed as a deity with the body of a fish and the head of a human, but he has other forms as well. Hua in Smite splashes into the battlefield as a high burst mage that strikes his enemies with currents of water. Hua's strengths are that he has high burst abilities that can deplete enemies' health within seconds. Hua's weakness is that he is a very squishy mage that has some abilities that need to be up close to use, making him vulnerable to people with CC and high burst as well. Next up is Hu Yi, the hero archer. Hu Yi was known as the best archer in history, with him in mythology taking down large monsters and even shooting them. Sun Wukong, you stop this now or I call Buddha, your choice. I don't think you'll want to be put underneath another mountain again, so wait your turn. Anyways, back to Hu Yi. Right, he even shot down 9 out of the 10 suns that used to reside during prehistoric times. Hu Yi's wife is Chang'e, the moon goddess. He built a palace on the moon for her. Hu Yi in Smite shows his prowess with the bow by aiming for the goal of victory. Hu Yi does his strongest in narrow areas, where his first ability and his ultimate do the best work. The first ability is a ricochet shot that can hit characters multiple times, and on the first bounce will give a 40% damage increase. Hu Yi's weakness comes from wide open areas where he can't take advantage of his ricochet shot, and where enemies can be spread out to avoid his ultimate, which is an area damage ultimate. We fly into the next god with Jing Wei, the protector of children who play in the Eastern Sea. She was once a princess who had drowned at sea, but was later reincarnated into the bird Jing Wei. She vowed that she would fill the Eastern Sea with rocks and twigs until it was full, and no child could share the same fate that fell on her. In Smite, Jing Wei soars her way into the battlefield with one of the highest mobility hunters in the game. Her strength is also her weakness, being that when she uses her mobility to engage, she gets the buffs from it that allow her to do more damage and attack faster, but if she uses all of her mobility to engage, she will have no chances to escape. Next is a very famous individual who is Hua Mulan. Mulan's father was ill, so when soldiers came to recruit more soldiers to join them, she disguised herself as a son so that she could be conscripted into the military rather than her father. She joined the military and became China's greatest warrior. When she went to the emperor to get her reward, the emperor was surprised to see that she was a woman. All she asked from the emperor was for a horse that she could return home. Smite Mulan is a warrior, and as she is in mythology with skillful use of the sword, bow, and spear. She is a warrior whose skill can compete with the gods. Her strengths come from her versatility. She can deal damage while being tanky and is a very strong character in Smite. Her weakness comes from her early game. Each of her abilities has stages that when they go to a certain point, they upgrade into a stronger ability. So early in the game, when her abilities have not had the experience they need, she won't do as much damage. Most babies are born after 9 months. Neja, on the other hand, was born after 3 years. He is a deity who protects the youthful and drivers. Neja at birth was already a strong boy. In Smite, Neja runs around on his fire wheels as well as lunging his spear coated in fire. He is an assassin with high mobility and strong bursts from his ribbon to leap to people, and his ultimate to launch one person into the air and do 3 strong consecutive hits. His weaknesses are that he is easy to counter with high crowd control characters, and if he is being blocked by a guardian from doing his ribbon, he has a hard time getting into a squishy character to use his ribbon and his ult. Next is Nu Hua. She is the Chinese Empress Hua, who is known for repairing the pillars of heaven, and she is the creator of mankind. She has the face of a woman and can be depicted with the lower half of her body as a snake or a fish. In Smite, Nu Hua shows her creative side by using the elements on her side to help defeat her foes. Nu Hua is a strong burst mage who sends out clay soldiers and throws metal shards to do high damage. Those that try to escape with low health have to beware of her ultimate that hits everyone for a moderate amount of damage. Her weakness comes from her mobility, where her best escape is the mist which cloaks her, making her invisible, but if someone has an area effect ability, it is easy to hit Nu Hua in this shroud. Right, it's your turn now, you can come out now. It's okay, you're not in trouble, you just need to think of others, okay? Now we're on to Sun Wukong, the monkey sage. In his early part in life, Sun Wukong was a trickster deity, with him doing as is pleased. Unlike other trickster gods, after a bet with Buddha, Sun Wukong was humbled, especially after some training. He even helped adventurers in their journey. In Smite, Sun Wukong smashes his way to victory, from his famous staff that can shrink or extend to an unimaginable length, to his 3 different forms that come from the 72 transformation. Sun Wukong's strength is his durability and his engagement. He is a very durable character who can stay on someone for a very long time, from his transformation to his ultimate, which lets him leap long distances. Sun Wukong's weakness is that he is only an engaged character, where if you try to protect squishy characters, it is not his strongest suit. Second to last is Xing Qian, who is a relentless deity that when the Yellow Emperor had cut Xing Qian's head off, Xing Qian simply grew eyes on his chest and a mouth on his stomach and continued to fight. He is the embodiment of an unbreakable will and always will continue no matter the circumstances. In Smite, Xing Qian is as relentless as he is in Smite. As a guardian, he does well with engagement as well as keeping on to players. His character's strengths are that he can keep people still while also being able to keep up with his enemies because of his mobility. Xing Qian's weaknesses is that he has hard time keeping the enemies off his allies with the exception of his ultimate and landing 2 hits from one ability that knocks up and roots. But other than that, if you keep your distance from Xing Qian, you can take care of his allies. Last on the list is Zhong Kui, the ghost turned ghostbuster. Zhong Kui is a deity that hunts demons and ghosts and helps protect from evil spirits. Zhong Kui in Smite will shout the demons away from the battlefield with his high burst damage as a mage. Zhong Kui all around is a strong character, from a passive that gives him mitigations to his high burst damage. Zhong Kui has few weaknesses, but one of the big ones is that he needs to get up close to enemy players since his abilities are all close range. Since he is tanky as a mage, it's not a problem of taking damage, but if people keep their distance and use their abilities from a distance, he cannot use most of his kit. Thank you all for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and high five that like button. This is Logan, logging off.